In the last 24 hours, the IDF attacked a military infrastructure in Syria that was used by the Hezbollah terrorist organization. The end of the operation in Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip is intended, among other things, to prepare for the operation in Rafah. All this is in the shadow of the negotiations for a prisoner deal that will release the Israeli hostages from Hamas hands back to their homes. This raises another question about how the IDF will manage the return of hundreds of thousands of Gazans to the northern part of the Gaza Strip. Finally, a secret Iranian operation to smuggle weapons to Israel has been uncovered. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 187th day of the war against Hamas and Hezbollah. The American newspaper, The Wall Street Journal, reported that officials familiar with the negotiations confirmed that the American compromise proposal presented to Hamas included the return of approximately 150,000 displaced Gazans to the northern part of the Gaza Strip. The IDF spokesperson's unit issued a clarification today, stating that they are aware of the reports and planning is underway to manage any operational constraints this might present. The IDF has worked around such problems before, including when many of these civilians were originally moving south at the beginning of the war. Talking about a broader view, we can see that exactly 6 months after the outbreak of the war, the IDF withdrew most of the maneuvering forces that remained in the Gaza Strip. This included the 98th Division, which operated in the last months in the Khan Yunis area in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. However, the IDF has clarified that this is a tactical withdrawal meant to regroup and reorganize the 98th Division so that it will be prepared to participate in the entry into Rafah, which is the last stronghold of Hamas. The statement said the IDF continues fighting in the Strip amidst attacks and setbacks and contacts with terrorists. An operation by the Gaza Division in Deir el-Balah is ongoing, and the IDF is preparing several raids that will be carried out. We are preparing for the next big move with all our strength. The operation in Khan Yunis is over. I need to emphasize that even now, after the withdrawal of IDF forces from Khan Yunis, the IDF is not letting up the pressure on Hamas. For example, a divisional raid was conducted yesterday, led by the Gaza Division to the Deir el-Balah area. At the same time, in the last 24 hours, the forces of the Nahal Brigade's combat team, which continues to operate in the central area of the Gaza Strip, eliminated several terrorists who are attempting to return to the area. This included intense close-quarter battles as well as tactical air and artillery strikes. The Air Force has also been deployed in the last 24 hours to strike any buildings and positions of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. This included a rocket launching site, a military structure, and underground tunnels in Rafah. Look, during the last 6 months that the IDF has been operating in the Gaza Strip, precise technological capabilities have been developed that can quickly identify wanted terrorists as soon as they emerge from their underground layers. This includes high-resolution cameras, facial recognition technology, and artificial intelligence systems that instantly recognize a wanted terrorist and can direct fire on his position. For example, yesterday, an Air Force aircraft eliminated a terrorist in the Khan Yunis area who was known to have participated in the 7th of October massacre against Israeli communities surrounding the Gaza Strip. To sum up, the IDF has fought Hamas for 6 months and has defeated it in most of the Gaza Strip. The only thing left to do is to destroy the last remaining formations of Hamas in Rafah, and thus dismantle their terrorist organization forever. This will also include dismantling the civil infrastructure that Hamas uses to rule over the civilian population of the Gaza Strip. Long after the active military conflict with Hamas has ended, we will need to continue focused raids on Hamas personnel who will try to continue their terrorist activities. As I've mentioned before, this method for managing the threat of terrorism has been used by Israeli forces in Judea and Samaria for many years. The long-term project of eliminating terrorism is not primarily a military problem, but a problem of education and cultural change. And this will require efforts far outside the scope of what the IDF can provide. And it will include prayers for peace and change of hearts. This is a good place to ask you to continue helping us spread the truth by sharing our videos and subscribing to this YouTube channel. Please also join us in prayer for the situation and especially prayers for the peace of Jerusalem. In the meanwhile, Israeli intelligence will continue to monitor events in the Gaza Strip. This will include keeping an eye on every municipal employee who clears the rubble from the streets with a tractor, as well as every head of the Gaza Sanitation Division or director of a regional educational department who still receives a salary from Hamas. Already today, the IDF identified and defeated an entire internal security mechanism of Hamas in Rafah. These are terrorists who are active in the city, making sure the civilians there do whatever Hamas wants them to do. They use violence and threats to keep people in line, like the Gestapo did in Nazi Germany or the KGB did in the Soviet Union. But now, these enforcers of the Hamas regime in Rafah have a big problem. The Israeli Air Force hits them whenever they appear above the ground or out of the open. This includes a group of thugs who were spotted in Kuwait Square in Sajaiya about 2 weeks ago and were immediately hit, leading to the elimination of most of them. Intelligence reports indicate that these efforts have some success, as food prices in Gaza have dropped in the markets by hundreds of percents in the last month. This is an indication of civilian economic stabilization in southern Gaza. The IDF believes that this will begin to happen in the coming days in Khan Yunis as well. The security establishment recognizes that Hamas has raised its taxes, which increases the hardship on the population. These taxes raise the price of basic goods, especially in preparation for Eid al-Fitr, when the end of the month of Ramadan is celebrated. This is another example of Hamas using its civilian population to increase international pressure on Israel. However, there are still large areas where the IDF has not yet maneuvered, such as Rafah and the center of the Gaza Strip. The level of civil control Hamas has in these areas is assessed to be at a medium level. This includes basic enforcements of law and order and control over the daily routine of the citizens. In any case, the IDF is preparing for the next moves against the remaining Hamas battalions that have not yet been dealt with in Deir el-Balach and the central towns near it, such as Nusayrat and the city of Rafah. Once again, I will ask you to please share the truth with us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tell your friends about what really is happening in this region in Israel. Getting back to the Wall Street Journal newspaper reports about a plan by the US to bring about a renewed Palestinian Authority to administer the Gaza population after the war is being fiercely opposed by Hamas. The terrorists are doing everything they can to limit the Palestinian Authority's access to the Strip so that they can preserve their own civil administration in it. The long-standing tensions between these two rival Palestinian organizations is intensifying amidst this war with Israel. The US and other world powers have announced that they will try to establish a renewed Palestinian Authority that supports the establishment of a Palestinian state through diplomacy. This is raising the level of conflict between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. At the same time, there is tension within the Palestinian Authority as the US is pushing the organization to make fundamental changes so that it will be ready to take on a significant role in Gaza. This is meant to prevent the formation of a governing vacuum that would allow Hamas to continue to exist or threaten the Palestinian Authority government. An American official said that the U.S. administration is aware of reports related to clashes between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas inside the Gaza Strip and possibly in other locations as well. Listen, the issue must be clear. Hamas is a despicable terrorist organization, and for the sake of the citizens of Gaza and for the sake of the future, Hamas must be eliminated. Please support us and take an active part in spreading the truth. If you'd like to donate to our work so we can create additional videos, please click on the donate button here on this YouTube channel or go to our website at www.tbn.org/Israel. Switching focus to the northern front, in the last 24 hours, the IDF attacked a Syrian army base which intelligence information indicates was used by Hezbollah. Also, in the last 24 hours, several observation posts and terrorist infrastructure of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon were closed. This followed heavy IDF artillery strikes meant to remove a threat in the areas of Ad-Daharia and Tir Harafa in southern Lebanon. The IDF spokesperson's unit said in a statement that the IDF considers the Syrian regime responsible for everything that happens on its territory and will not allow attempts that will lead to the establishment of the terrorist organization Hezbollah on its front. All of this is taking place against the background of the fear of Iranian revenge due to the assassination attributed to Israel of a senior member of the Revolutionary Guards in Damascus last week. With that in mind, the IDF statement added that we are concentrating on alertness and strengthening intelligence and defense. The IDF is ready for multi-arena engagement, and we will warn the enemy that the IDF is indeed prepared and will attack if needed. A daily situation assessment for Iranian intentions is being carried out. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to report on these events as they unfold. Please continue to spread the truth, share and follow us, and continue to pray for the peace of Israel and the peace of the IDF soldiers. And most importantly, don't forget to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Thank you for your support. Together, we will win this war.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.